Hi, so my name is Hunter. This is my friend Alejandra, and the purpose of this assignment in the video is I'm teaching her flexibility and mobility and a few different exercises on determining and when it comes to stretching and what may be tight or loose and how to improve that within the muscles. So the two mobility or screening exercises I'll be doing for this is the aptly scratch shoulder test and the sit and reach test as well. That one will measure the hamstring and lower back mobility, while the shoulder test, aptly scratch test, will evaluate the internal and external rotation when it comes to the shoulder, as well as the scapular reach. So the first mobility screening test we're going to do is the aptly scratch shoulder test to measure the mobility, internal, external rotation of the shoulder. You can see my first one is good when I put my right arm over my head, but when I do my left arm, you can see there's asymmetry and that there's a imbalance in the reach. So now I'm going to walk my volunteer out to do it. So have you stand right here, please. Have you do as shown, put the right arm over your head back like this, other one back like this, and turn. As you can see, she's barely able to touch her fingertips, which shows she's got good, semi-good flexibility, but possible asymmetry within there. So go ahead and do it the other side now. And then you can see the reach is not nearly as good, as there's a gap between both hands here, which shows that there's definitely asymmetry in that stretching can be done. There are certain stretches that can be done to improve this. So for the next mobility and screening test we're going to do is the sit and reach test. We're going to have our legs flat with our feet against the wall, and we're going to reach out as far as possible, try and touch our toes without bending the knees at all. And this will measure our hamstring flexibility or mobility, as well as our lower back mobility. So go ahead and sit down, please, with your feet flat against the wall. And then with your knees straight, lean forward as much as you can with your hands. So as you can see, like me, wasn't able to get fully to the wall, which indicates that there is a lack of mobility or flexibility within the hamstrings and the low back, which means that there could be some tightness there, as well as just inability for maybe not stretching as much. So the reasons for choosing these tests, first one with the aptly scratch test is, in the past, she's told me or talked to me about when she reaches to grab things or after she does certain workouts with shoulders, she has more than a workout soreness, but more so it's like a tightness to move or like an inability to move certain directions, as well as, and then for like the sit and reach test, like saying like maybe while walking like certain distances or too much, like she'll get tightness in the back of her hamstrings or in the back of her leg, as well as just, which will radiate and stay for long periods of time. But when she goes to stretch them or does certain things like working out, she finds it's very difficult for her to do them. So the first static stretch I'll be having her do and showing her is the cross-body shoulder stretch, where it'll help stretch the upper back, but as well as the posterior shoulder or deltoid, which could help relieve some of that tightness or inability to do like externally or internally rotate. And that'll be done on both the left side and the right side there. So for the dynamic stretch for the shoulders mobility test that I'll have her do is the large arm circles, which will help with doing like working the whole deltoid and warming up the shoulders, as well as full range of motion. So forward and backwards will be helpful. So I'm gonna have you go ahead and reach one arm across like this, please. So you can see it's not up as much as it maybe should be. We're going to turn a little bit as much, but if she were to maybe pull up, it would give that bigger stretch, which would target more right back here. But she is doing it properly as demonstrated. So the dynamic stretch we'll be doing for the aptly scratch test or the shoulder test is going to be the large arm circles as previously shown. So go ahead and hold both the arms out like straight, and then just try and perform some large arm circles for me. And then kind of do some backwards as well. And then if you may, can I have you try and kind of stand off to the side a little bit and do the same thing again? And then kind of do them forward as well. So as you can see when she's doing them, just keep doing them. There's kind of like a little bit of a tilt in the shoulders, showing that there's not as much active range of motion or full range of motion as there should be. Whereas compared as it's not a full range of motion, there's a little bit lacking, which shows that there could be that tightness in the back of the shoulders, which could be preventing that active and full range of motion. So for the static stretch that I'll be having her do and showing for the sit and reach test is the seated hamstrings curl, or seated hamstring stretch, where you will have one leg extended, the other one folded in with the arm flat or reached out, which will help stretch the hamstrings, the back of the leg, as well as inside of the thighs as well. And that'll be done on both sides, which will hopefully relieve some tightness, as well as give some flexibility to the back of the leg. And when it comes to walking and doing certain exercises, without feeling tightness or soreness when walking and doing daily activities. So for the dynamic stretch, I'll be having her do to help with like the hamstrings will be the leg swings, front and back on both sides, which will help with mobility and flexibility in terms of the hamstrings as well as in the hip flexors, which will help loosen things up, especially since this is a dynamic stretch, which is what we do when we're walking or running on a daily basis, which will get more warming everything up with the muscles. So we're gonna do the seated hamstring stretch. So go ahead and reach one leg out, please. The other one folded in, and then reach one hand as far as you can. So as demonstrated in the video, you can see her arm is straight, knee is flat, and she's not able to get all the way into her foot, which shows that there's a lack of flexibility and mobility within the hamstrings, which means that she's not able to get all the way out, which shows that this could be a useful and helpful stretch in increasing that flexibility and mobility within the hamstrings and the back of the leg, as well as possibly in the back of the calves as well. Go ahead and stand, feet like shoulder width apart. So go ahead and swing one leg of your choice from front to back. So as demonstrated, she's doing it, but you can also see that the leg is kind of swinging out a little bit, which could indicate some compensation a little bit within the hips elsewhere, aside from in the hamstrings if they're tight, because they should be going from front to back straight, whereas they're going out a little bit. So, but it's also stopping at a point. She's not going as far back as you would normally see in someone who's not tight in their hamstrings or within their hips. So for the mobility exercise that I'm going to choose to do is the PVC pipe pass-throughs for the shoulders, which is going to help with shoulder flexion as well as externally rotating the shoulders, as well as when it comes to the scapular and when it comes to coordinating those. So we're going to first start off with the broomstick in our hands in a wide grip. Then we're going to slowly make our way up and back, all the way to the back. And then once we get there, we come all the way back overhead, and then do the same thing by coming forward as well. And by doing this, it's going to help with our rotation externally, as well as flexing the shoulder, which should help alleviate some of that tightness and the mobility when it comes to it. So go ahead and, with the PVC pipe, take like a wide grip with it, like a wider grip, and start out like down here kind of, a little bit lower, and then slowly work your way upwards, and then behind your back as well. And then once there, go ahead and do the same thing in the reverse direction, kind of going outwards now. So as seen, she's able to do it, but you kind of see like that compensation a little bit, where the right side is a little bit higher with it when she was doing it than the left side was on the way back up. That could demonstrate maybe like a lack of mobility or tight, maybe one side is tighter than the other side possibly.